Hello folks, and welcome to this week's HiFi News. I've got a hint tip for you, aimed more at beginners and aimed at speakers. And I have some news, obviously, and 5 of those, I think. But let's begin with trivia. And let's carry on with the sports science theme, shall we? And this week's question is, the official song for the England team at the 1998 World Cup was credited to something called England United. Now that was made up of members of which 4 English groups? One more time. The official song for the England team at the 1998 World Cup was credited to England United, which was made up of members of which 4 English groups? Have a little kickabout, have a little think, a few keepy uppies, and I will give you the answer at the end of this video. For now, HiFi News. We'll begin with the Franco Serblin Accordo Goldberg speakers. Now, Franco Serblin, in case you didn't know, founded Sonus Faber back in the 1980s. Then he sold the company in 2006, and he began creating speakers under his own name, starting with the Katama, I think that's how you call those models. Those speakers entered production in 2010, followed by the Accordo. Now, old Franco, he sadly passed away in 2013, but the brand was then passed on to his son-in-law, and his son-in-law, well, he runs it to this day. Now, Franco, before he sadly passed on, he left many drawings of his concepts yet to be brought into existence at the time of his death. These drawings, well, they're the source of inspiration for occasional new models, and the new Accordo Goldberg is one such design. It takes its name from Bach's Goldberg variations and its design inspiration from the Accordo stand mount speaker, enlarging its form and incorporating a 29mm silk dome tweeter by Ragnar Lian and a 180mm mid-bass driver with a microsphere cone and aluminium dust cap. The speaker's solid wooden cabinet, actually solid walnut cabinet, is inspired by the design of stringed instruments. It has, as you can see here, an asymmetric shape and aluminium magnesium decouplers which eradicate standing waves and cabinet resonance. These speakers are available this month in January for £8,888. There are matching floor stands. They can be got for £2,798. I'll put a link down below if you fancy another look. Next up, we have a couple from musical Fidelity and the nu-vista range, and a nu-vista DAC, and that utilizes an ESS 32-bit Hyperstream 2 DAC architecture, while the unit itself offers inputs for up to 3 optical sources, 1 coax device, 1 USB, and a single AES EBU source, plus an I2S input for a future nu-vista CD player. The control interface gives access to multiple customization options, and there's an included remote too. There's also balanced and unbalanced, plus fixed and variable output options. The nu-vista DAC uses 2 ES9038 Q2M chips in dual differential mode for a dual mono design. Thanks to these converters, the nu-vista DAC supports up to 768 kHz audio files in PCM and DSD256 via DOP and native DSD512 via USB. MQA is also supported up to 384 kHz. This design is based on a low noise, low dropout dual regulator architecture, while the inclusion of a time domain jitter eliminator further results in low noise. Each channel has its own fully balanced nu-vista output stage with valves running in a fully discrete Class A configuration. Price, well, it ain't cheap, as you might imagine, £9,999. Musical fidelity, why not just go the full 10K? Have a bit of backbone, get in there, just stick some zeros on there, come on. Another nu-vista box, this one is called the Vinyl 2. It is the flagship phono amplifier. It boasts a fully balanced and discrete electrical design, and it supports, as you might expect, moving magnet and moving coil. The 2 balanced XLRs and 2 unbalanced RCA inputs, as well as balanced and unbalanced outputs, are included. You get options for gain, capacitance, impedance, and equalization, as well as a 2-step subsonic filter. This product contains 3 gain stages powered by Class A discrete transistor circuitry. The EQ stage is passive and in 2 separate stages. In addition to the standard RIAA curve, Musical Fidelity has also implemented Decca and Columbia curves to suit different records or musical tastes. The audio signals from the phono amp go to a separate board for each channel with a fully balanced discrete Class A nu-vista valve stage. Price, well, similar to the last one. No, exactly the same as the last one, £9,999. Next up, a record cleaner from Pangea Audio called the Record Dr. X. I think it's X and not 10, I think it's X. Anyway, the Record Dr. X is a vacuum-based vinyl record cleaner. It's been around actually for a little while, but it's now been upgraded so that it cleans both sides, or rather it vacuums both sides of the record at the same time. So you still get the usual arm coming across the top of the record and vacuuming as it goes across, but also underneath there's a small gap, a slit, and that does more vacuuming underneath the disc. Like other models in its class, it also features a bi-directional motor, while a 5-inch clamp secures itself to the top. There is, as you might expect, a storage tank in a cabinet to hold spent liquid. Now, I only have a dollar price for now, and it's basically $600, which is still quite a bit cheaper than a comparable model from, say, VPI. I'll put links below for this and other products I mentioned in this video. Next, we have a bit of a weird one. It's from FiiO. It's called the KB3 DAC keyboard. And yes, this is a keyboard with a built-in DAC. So you can connect it to your desktop computer via USB and receive audio up to, what is it, 32-bit, 384 kilohertz, or DSD256. Inside are 2 CS43131, is it? Chips from Cirrus Logic, and in addition to that, there are 2 supporting amplifiers. You also get headphone no, I was going to say one, but you get two headphone outputs. There's a 3.5mm and a 4.4mm balanced Pentacom. In terms of the keyboard itself, well, you can change the keycaps and you can change lighting options because they are there. Prices I have here include £139 or $149. That's your hi-fi news. Let's go for a hint, a tip. Now, a few hi-fi news etc. videos ago, I talked a little bit about speaker positioning, moving the left and right speakers forward and back to allow the stereo effect to sort of click in. Well, this time I just wanted to note your actual seating position. In terms of height, well, the speakers too actually, in terms of their height. A good gauge to see if your seating height and the speaker height is correct is to see where the treble unit is. That is, ideally, and there are exceptions, and I'll get to that or those in a second, the treble unit should be at ear level. It doesn't have to be exact to the millimeter, but there or thereabouts should be fine. Now, we'll talk about the notion of towing in your speaker cabinets at another time in another video, but for now, try and raise or lower the treble unit to rest at ear level. If that is difficult to accomplish from the perspective of the speaker, then it might be easier to change the height of your chair, mainly because speakers tend to be at a fixed position and a fixed height. Now, on a quick tangent, the only time I've ever had adjustable speaker stands was when I was a kid. And I convinced my parents to buy me, well, the family, although it ended up being me, a decent hi-fi system. The stands I used at that time, and I can't remember what they're called, could be changed in height terms. And I soon learned that this was a bit of an exception rather than the rule. Normally, speaker stands don't move up or down, and obviously floor standing speakers move even less up and down. So if your seating position is too high or too low, it might be wise to change your seating arrangements. Thus, it might mean changing your chair, or if you have the capability, changing the internal height of the chair itself. Now, yes, in speaker terms, there are exceptions. Some speakers are designed to sit low and they angle the high-res units, the treble units especially, upwards towards your ear. Well, in most cases, you won't get that. You ideally, as I say, want to have that treble unit at ear level or so. So what happens if you don't? Well, if the treble unit is too low or too high, you may lose some resolution. You may lose some detail. Now, I will go into more detail about this in the future because that will key in with towing in your speakers, and that's really a little hint and tip all on its own. Now, if what I've said has just confused the hell out of you, then no surprise there, hey. But I can always help if you need help, so please give me a shout and I will do my very best to help. And that's it, folks. Thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. Before I let you go, though, can I give you an answer to the trivia question? And to remind you, the question is, the official song for the England team at the 1998 World Cup was credited to something called England United, and that was made up of members of which 4 English groups? Well, the answer is the Spice Girls, Echo and the Bunnymen, Space, and Ocean Colour Scene. The song itself, which was called How Does It Feel to Be on Top of the World, stalled, not surprisingly, at number 9. Didn't get to number 1, I'm afraid. Strangely, and rather amazingly though, it got as far as number 38 in Scotland, which surprised the hell out of me, I've got to say. So now you know. Anyway, I'll be back probably next week, hopefully. It's still a bit up in the air in terms of what's going on because of the Happy New Year, by the way, and all that kind of stuff. Have a very peaceful, gentle, easy New Year. I think we could all do with a bit of peace and easy and gentle, don't you? So I will be back ASAP with another video. Until that time, folks, bye-bye for now.